Good afternoon, Aura. How are you?
Hello, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good.
So I was reading on your Twitter account that you played in Glasgow yesterday, and it was the
Yes.
first time that you played for 2,000 people.
Yeah, it was absolutely
How was
crazy.
that?
It was crazy. I definitely didn't realize that that was the biggest venue until the night that I was there. I was like, wait, this doesn't look like the previous shows that we've played. It looks much bigger. And then I asked one of the people that was working there what the capacity is, and they're like, oh, it's like 1,800. And I was like, what? That's crazy. But it was super cool. Yeah, I loved it.
How can you explain a bit more? How cool? What do you mean?
I don't know what else to say about it. I mean, it's definitely, it's weird to think that so many people are listening to exactly what I'm singing and saying at the same time. And that was the biggest crowd that I've ever performed in front of. And being an opening act definitely can be scary just because people don't know your music at all. They're coming to see someone else. So for me, it really helped that the crowd was like cheering me on and stuff. And I had some friends in the crowd too, actually, which was nice. I have a few Scottish friends. And yeah, it was really nice overall though.
Were you nervous?
Yeah, for sure. I definitely had a little nerves, but I feel like you have to have nerves because it like means you care. It means you care about the performance, right? So that's what I always try and tell myself. But I think I'm definitely a little bit proud of myself because I used to have terrible stage fright, like really bad. And I've gotten over that in the last 5 years. So it's now I can go on stage and be like totally fine and chill and not like a nervous mess.
So do you feel any kind of pressure when you are performing or not anymore?
For sure. That happens depending on things that have happened before the performance. Like yesterday, actually it was the day before yesterday, the Glasgow show. I definitely felt a little bit of pressure, mostly because I wasn't feeling very well. I was slightly sick, and when you're on tour, you're always traveling the day before or on the day to get there, so there's a lot of pressure with even like being there on time and like doing sound check, and if I don't know, I haven't gone through a certain song to make sure that the levels are right or that it sounds right in my ears, and there's multiple things that can go wrong. So when you're on stage, you really just have to ignore all of those little things that could possibly go wrong and just do your best, and that's what I try and do.
So you were talking about pressure and how you deal with the pressure and when you are performing. Do you have any ritual before you go on stage?
Yes, I guess you could call it a ritual, but it's more of like a checklist of things that I make sure to do before I go on stage just to make sure I'm prepared. I try and drink like a long sip of water, make sure that there's a bottle of water on the stage too, so I can drink after every song. Do extra vocal warm-ups, and I do like a couple of jumping jacks, like just to like get myself hyped up a little, and pee. And make sure I go to the toilet before. Oh, that was so awkward. It's
So
okay.
yeah, 100% relaxed.
It's like, that's a very important thing that everyone should make sure to do before they go on stage. Yeah.
Yeah. So now going back to yesterday's concert, I believe you played your new single, Panic Room.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
How was the public's reception to your new song?
I hope they liked it. I think from the vibe that they were giving off, I think they liked it. I definitely loved performing it. It's especially in like the beat drop, if you know what I mean. Like when the chorus comes, there's a certain that's very fun to move to. So I always love performing that one.
And yesterday, were people singing the lyrics for the song? How was this?
It was actually surprising because there were a few people who knew it, which was awesome. I don't get that a lot because I'm obviously not that known over here. So it was super cool seeing people actually singing along. That really touched me. And yeah, that was cool.
Yeah. And I was also reading that, still talking about this Panic Room single, you said that Panic Room is probably the darkest song I've written.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if this song, does it come from any personal experience?
Yeah, for sure. I definitely have, I get anxiety a lot sometimes. That's probably more in the past than currently, thankfully. And it's something a lot of people experience, and especially, I would say I mostly had that while I was still going to school, while I was in high school. Just because, I don't know, this just being there gave me anxiety, and I just felt like I didn't really fit in 100%, and that just made me worry about like the most stupid, like tiny things. And looking back at that, I realized that a lot of people around me felt that way too, because, I don't know, school can be a very judgmental place, especially for younger people who are just getting to know themselves. And I just wanted to make a song that people can relate to with that, because I feel like everyone feels that way at some point, and it's important to know how to deal with that, so, yeah.
So does this music, or does the lyrics of Panic Room help you to deal with anxiety somehow?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, Panic Room is a story about someone who is running from themselves. If you read the lyrics, you can interpret it in many ways. But for me, when I was writing it, it was about someone who was running away from themselves, not noticing that they were causing their own problems. That the monsters were actually, like, they were creating the monsters. It wasn't like somebody else that was insulting them or anything, because you can be your biggest enemy sometimes, and that is anxiety. It's like you being your biggest enemy, and criticizing yourself. So that's what the actual storyline is about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was also reading on your Twitter again that you were saying that many people deal with anxiety. Mm-hmm. So were you also trying to like connect with this group of people through this song?
Yeah, well, I was hoping to, for sure. I feel like I would have wanted to hear a song that talked about that when I was mostly in that phase of my life then. So yeah, that's what I was hoping to achieve. And I definitely still feel like that sometimes, so I feel like everyone in some way can relate to it.
Yeah, nice. Still about Panic Room. So the song for me, it's a pop song, but it also has some electro elements in there.
Yeah, for sure.
So which artists influenced you in the musical aspect of the song?
I'm not even sure, to be honest, like what artist would have influenced me with Panic Room. I don't know. I'm not really sure. The thing is, it's funny because mostly I get inspired by other artists' lyrics more than like the actual sound of music. So Panic Room was more of just my creation, basically. And my producer's creation. I don't know if there was actually like a certain artist that inspired it.
Yeah, because as you were saying that there is a switch when the chorus comes, there is a switch in the song, and it becomes a bit darker.
Oh yeah, definitely. It gets a whole different vibe.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because it's more like eerie and spooky in the verses, and then it goes into like this kind of slightly club alternative, like electro thing. It's funny because when we were writing Panic Room, we had a completely different chorus drop. It went into like more of a trap thing, but we worked on that song. Well, my producers on the track, they worked on it for about like a year and figured out multiple like different drops, and it just never felt right. Like we would listen to it and be like, no, it's not quite there yet, and then we figured out what's in the song now, and we like instantly fell in love with that. So it definitely was a process. Like we didn't immediately get the chorus drop and we're like, oh yeah, that's it. It took like 5 different changes for us to actually figure it out. But when we did, it was that one for sure.
Nice. And I was wondering, So the song has already have 700,000 streams on Spotify.
Which is crazy.
In 10 days.
Yeah, that's insane. I mean, I've never had a song get that many streams in such a short amount of time. And I just like shortly before this got the news that my Spotify like listener rate has gone up by 398% like in the past week, which is like the fastest it's ever gone up like before. So it's a milestone. Panic Room has been a milestone for me, which is super cool, streaming wise, which is super exciting. Yeah.
So it's basically like the opposite of the anxiety status, right?
Yeah, it's
because
like causing me a lot of excitement and
exactly.
Celebration, which is cool.
Nice.
But yeah.
Okay, so now let's change a bit for your perspectives. We talked with you 2 months ago when you were performing at Eurosonic, and then you said that, well, I'm in the very beginning stages of where I want to be. So where do you want to be by the end of 2018?
End of 2018. Oh, I always suck at answering these questions because like I never really know exactly how to put it. Let me just like keep it in one sentence. I would hope that by then, if I was doing a concert somewhere in Europe, that people, like a headline concert, that people would like actually sing along, that the people there would know the lyrics, and then we could all just jam to it. And yeah, that would be like the stage that I would love to be at, because I feel like that makes a live performance like for an artist like way more special when people actually like are really feeling the music, and that's something I've definitely noticed while I've been on tour now. I love performing either way, but actually having the crowd like be in it and know the song and know the lyrics, and it adds so much more to the performance. So yeah, to be able to do that by the end of the year would be amazing. Yeah.
It makes it a communal experience somehow.
Exactly, of course, yeah. So it's less like a showcase, it's more like everyone's performing, like everyone's in it. So
it's a moment, right?
It's a moment, yeah, exactly. And I snuck out into the crowd in Glasgow the day before yesterday during Lewis Capaldi's performance, because I wanted to see what it's like to be the audience. And I had a couple of friends there too, so we stood at the front and like listened to it, and it definitely is a whole different thing when everybody knows, and it's a whole different experience, and it's super cool.
Right.
So that would be amazing.
Yeah. So can we expect a full album for this year?
Probably not for this year. More like next year, okay. I would say. Yeah. I'm still figuring that out right now, but there's definitely lots of music that I want to get out there as soon as possible, so yeah.
And what's the mood of this upcoming music's gonna be like? Is it gonna be dark as...
There's definitely some like more pop stuff in there, but then there's also a continuous like dark theme, but there'll be some more up-tempo ones that have a bit more of a poppy, like electro-pop vibe. But I'll definitely, I'm a pop out artist, so it'll always be pop out music.
Okay. And when do you compose your songs?
Like whenever I can. But yeah, whenever I can. I mean, sometimes I have like an idea while I'm traveling, and then I keep that idea for when I go into a songwriting session, and then we just work on it from then on. Yeah. Right.
Okay, I think that's it.
Cool,
Thank
awesome.
You.
Thanks for having
much.
me. No problem.
Thank you.
Cool. We good?
Yes.
Yeah.